Hear me for a moment, not as noise in your day, but as a voice finding you at the exact second it's meant to. This is not random. You haven't arrived here by scrolling or drifting, you were led. If your week has felt heavier than usual, if the quiet corners of your house have known more sighs than laughter, if loved ones weigh on your chest even when you're trying to sleep, then you already know the truth. Unseen challenges press where they can't be photographed. Yet even there, something in your favor has already been spoken. Your silent grief was not invisible. Your whispered prayers were not weak. What you thought no one heard has been held by a presence who moves, not watches. So let's name what's hard without surrendering to it. The fatigue under your eyes, the worry that hums in the background, the questions about whether you're late or lost. Then let's place it against a larger backdrop, timing that is flawless, a season not general but specific, tailored for you. If you've ever wondered whether purpose has a calendar, consider this moment a circled date. You are not at the end, you are at a hinge. And at the hinge, the door doesn't argue, it turns. I'm asking you to believe that a turn is possible even before you feel momentum, that help is already in motion on your behalf. You don't need to force anything, just don't abandon yourself right before the hour strikes. This is not chance. This is appointment. When the sky opens, there are days when the ceiling feels low and your chest feels tight. Then, without fanfare, the air changes. You can't say why, but you know it. Call it the spiritual realm opening or a window of mercy, but either way, it's a shift. If you've had nights where sleep kept its distance and days where your energy leaked through every obligation, hear this. Closeness has never left you. Presence has never stepped away. The loneliness felt real, but wasn't the final word. Important change doesn't always explode. Often it lands like first light, quiet, undeniable. Something holy is being revealed, and it isn't theatrical. It's steady. It's the kind of revelation that doesn't ask you to perform, only to notice. Look back over your last few weeks, the coincidences that lined up too precisely, the conversation that arrived at the right hour, the unexpected peace that didn't match your circumstances. None of that was accidental. Doors do not swing on their own. What if the difficult season wasn't proof that you were forgotten, but evidence that you were carried? What if the ache was not a verdict, but a preparation, thinning the noise so you could hear what's essential? You have not been abandoned, you've been escorted. The things you feared would break you have, instead, made you transparent to the light. And when the light finds a transparent heart, it doesn't pass through, it settles in. This is that settling. Let the newness arrive without rushing to label it. Let it teach you to breathe again, the decision and the clearing. Picture your situation brought into a higher court, not the courtroom of public opinion, not the tribunal of your harsh inner critic, but a place where rightness is not debated, it is declared. The file on your life is opened, examined with kindness and precision, and the word comes down. Release, restoration, set things right. That's the tone of this hour. You're not being scolded into change. You're being invited into wholeness. If you're willing, try this simple practice with me. Close your eyes, drop your shoulders, and take one measured breath. Let it wash over you, the idea that help is not far, that nearness is not a metaphor. You're being called out of spiritual numbness, out of a habit of bracing for impact, and back into protective nearness. This nearness doesn't promise a life without storms. It promises a shelter that holds while the sky argues. But there's urgency here, not panic urgency. Opportunities don't always keep office hours. Some doors are for now, not later. You don't have to sprint, but you do have to respond. Think of it like a tide. If you step when it swells, the ocean carries you farther with less effort. If you wait, you can still move, but not with the same grace. Right now, the tide is in your favor. Hindrances are already trembling. Paths that felt bricked over are softening. Say yes to the clearing even if you can't see the entire road. You're not asked for a map, only for consent to forward. The answer that unlocks. There are words that move furniture in the soul. They aren't dramatic, they're decisive. I hear. I receive. I accept. I am yours. Saying them out loud isn't magic, it's alignment. When your inner agreement meets the grace already extended to you, the grip around your spirit loosens. The patterns that have held you in place begin to crack. The obstacles that once felt immovable start acting like doors you simply hadn't learned to push. Consider how many times you've tried to fix everything by thinking harder, working longer, doing more. What if this turn isn't about effort but agreement? Agreement doesn't ignore reality, it widens it. It doesn't deny the past, it refuses to let the past narrate the future. And with that refusal, you step onto something enduring, ground that doesn't give way when the season changes. The point isn't to win an argument with your fear, it's to sign your name where love has already printed the document. As you answer, pay attention to the subtle shifts, the sentence you don't say because peace chooses silence, the boundary you honor without apology, the small courage to start again without the heavy costume of perfection. These are not minor. They are the first bricks of a life that lasts. Eternity is not just a destination later. It's a quality of life now, durable, rooted, immune to cheap approval. And the moment you agree with it, you can feel the difference. Less clenching, more breath. Less proving, more presence. That is what unlocking sounds like inside a human being. Resolved by grace. Resolve doesn't mean you were flawless, brilliant, or endlessly strong. It means mercy intervened. It means a payment you could never cover was covered for you. It means the argument against your hope has run out of evidence. Conflicts that loop for years can end with a word. Accusations lose volume when truth enters the room. The hardships serve its term. It does not get to extend itself indefinitely. If you've lived under labels, wrong, unworthy, afraid, today is a name change. Not because you muscled your way into being better, but because compassion outranked condemnation. Think of the knots inside you. Shame that tightens around old mistakes, fear that forecasts failure, the reflex to apologize for existing. Grace doesn't tangle with those knots, it warms them until they loosen. It opens a way where your spreadsheets and strategies could not. Let this reframe find you. You are not the problem to be solved, you are the person to be restored. The distance between who you are and who you're becoming is not measured in punishments, but in presence. What blocked you inside patterns, outside pressures, does not have diplomatic immunity. Doors are permitted to open. Roads are permitted to clear. And the permission doesn't come from the loudest critic or the latest trend. It comes from the one who stepped in personally. So walk forward not with swagger, but with steadiness. Carry this sentence into the hours ahead, not by my spotless record, but by relentless love. When that becomes your reference point, you stop bargaining with fear. You stop auditioning for worth. You start living like someone whose case has been settled and whose future is finally free to begin. Set free at the turning point. There comes a moment, not loud but definite, when the current of your life changes direction. You feel it first as relief you can't explain, then as clarity that rearranges your priorities. The resistance that once strutted in front of you suddenly steps back. Those who stood against you are pushed to the edges, no longer holding the center of your story. This isn't denial, it's jurisdiction. A higher verdict has touched your file, and the record beside your name now reads in simple, liberating print, set free. Why this moment? Because breakthroughs have clocks. You reach the crucial hour when building pressure turns to forward motion, when what challenged you becomes the very proof that you were tempered, not broken. Freedom isn't just a feeling, it's an assignment. Being set free is not the finish line, it's the green light. You're released for something, to begin your journey of rising above the old gravity that kept you circling the same problems. Here's the part many people miss. Liberation deepens with agreement. When you agree with what's been spoken over you, you draw a spiritual boundary around your life. You're not announcing perfection, you're declaring jurisdiction. That voice doesn't get to rule here anymore. Agreement doesn't make the wind stop, it gives you a sail. Say it plainly when old patterns knock. I have been set free, and I will rise. Then act like it in small, steady ways. Choose an honest conversation over a silent resentment, a healthy boundary instead of a familiar spiral, a new practice where an old habit used to sit. Freedom is not fragile, it's formative. And the more you walk it out, the more you recognize this turning point for what it is. Not an interruption, but the beginning of your ascent, your worth settled at the highest level. Imagine a room where truth does not wobble with public opinion, a place of divine authority where your entire story, failures, faithfulness, missteps, endurance, is seen all at once. In that council, you are not a case to be argued, you are a person already known. When judgment rises around you, hear this counter sound. I stand firmly in your corner. Those words aren't a pep talk, they're policy. You belong. You matter. You are valued beyond measure. Not because you checked every box, but because something deeper and more permanent has been woven into you. Performance has a ceiling. Belovedness does not. Some of us learned to chase approval until our legs gave out, then called the collapse humility. Let that pattern end here. You do not have to earn support you already have. It's already yours is not leniency, it's lineage. What covers you is older than your worst day and more faithful than your best performance. When the inner critic gathers exhibits, old mistakes, awkward chapters, half-finished tries, answer with what is truer. The foundation of my worth has been established above my pay grade. You didn't author your value, so you can't nullify it. Live from that center and watch how your voice changes. Less pleading, more clarity. Less defensiveness, more dignity. You will find that compassion becomes easier, not because you excuse harm, but because you're no longer bargaining for identity. And when shame tries to make a comeback, remember, you are covered. Not covered like a stain under paint, but like a traveler under a sturdy roof in a storm. Coverage means provision, protection, and a place to stand. Let that truth steady your breathing. Let it simplify your choices. Worth that settled frees you to show up honestly, without masks, without theatrics, with the quiet strength of someone who knows they are already held. The verdict stands and victory begins. Here's what the new page actually says. Cleared, made new, set free, held in favor. That is not motivational language. That's the status of your life from a realm where the final word is truly final. In that realm, the struggle is already finished. What you're feeling now is the echo, not the event, which means a fresh start isn't a someday, it's underway. The path before you is marked for well-being, not because you will never face strain again, but because goodness now has the right of way. Will worry still attempt to visit? Of course. When it does, answer it with a practiced confession. My position is settled by the Most High. That sentence isn't denial, it's alignment. You're letting your thoughts report to the truest authority in the room. Every time you speak it, you're reminding your nervous system that fear is not the captain. And yes, there was a voice that said your future had no value. It spoke falsehoods with the confidence of facts, hoping you'd mistake volume for truth. Notice how accusation always tries to steal tomorrow while exhausting today. It tells you to expect less, ask small, stay put. But once a higher verdict lands, that script gets retired. You're not naive, you're commissioned. The goal now is not to out-argue every doubt. It's to outlive them by walking forward, one faithful decision at a time. Here's a practical start. Dedicate this next stretch of your life to congruence. Let your calendar reflect your confession. If you say your position is settled, then choose commitments that honor peace, not panic. Choose work that fits your integrity, not just your image. Let relationships be reciprocities, not rescues. As you do, you'll notice something almost unfair. Doors open that effort alone couldn't budge, because favor and clarity are doing their quiet work. Charges dropped, case closed. Picture the scene. No debates, no theatrics. A sovereign right is established, and with it, every charge against you dissolves. Not negotiated, dissolved. The cost required for your liberty has already been covered, and the ledger shows zero due. That means shame cannot invoice you for back payments. That means regret can't compound interest. The one who accused you came with a case built from fragments, moments ripped from context, failures presented as identity, pain misread as proof. But under pure authority, his case crumbled. Not because your past is rewritten, but because mercy interpreted it with perfect knowledge. Accusations are loud until they meet reality. Then they thin out and fall silent. What remains is not denial, it's deliverance. Understand the implications. What has been established cannot be undermined by commentary. People may remember a chapter, but they do not hold your statute. The opponent cannot damage what has been claimed by a higher hand. He cannot hinder what has been accelerated by a higher will. He cannot speak against what has been set apart. His microphone is unplugged at that frequency. So how do you live from a closed case? With clean hands and an unhurried heart. You stop relitigating your history. You refuse the endless appeals of guilt. You tell the truth about what happened without giving it the right to name you. And you practice receiving help, joy, opportunity without suspicion. Receiving is not passivity. It's participation in the new legal reality of your life. Walk with that confidence, not as swagger, but as steadiness. Let your daily posture say what the verdict already declared. I am free to move forward. Unmasking the lie, walking in a new stance. Here is the adversary's main tactic summarized. Not ruin, but deception. If he can't actually chain you, he'll try to convince you the door is locked. If he can't steal your future, he'll flood you with fog until you stop walking. But today there's a counter-declaration. The opponent's influence has ceased. Influence thrives in confusion. It dies in clarity. So be resolute. Not hard, not harsh, resolute. Proceed in victory, like someone who understands the terrain has shifted. Victory, in this context, is not a parade, it's a posture. It looks like gratitude that keeps your sight clean, like consistency that outlasts mood swings, like a quiet thank you that disarms the reflex to catastrophize. Gratitude isn't denial of pain, it's recognition of provision. It trains your attention to find the reliable thread when life looks tangled. Let your words cooperate with your stance. Speak what aligns with what's been done. Victory is firmly established. Then let behavior bear witness. Close the tabs that drain your focus. Limit the rooms that feed your anxiety. Invest in practices that keep your inner world ventilated. Journaling, honest friendships, healthy rhythms of rest and work. When deception loses its echo chamber, it loses its edge. And when old whispers try a final time, who do you think you are? Answer without theatrics. I am who the highest says I am. The matter is settled. You don't have to match the volume. truth has its own resonance. Keep walking, not frantically but faithfully. Every step in that direction widens the daylight between you and the old narrative. You are not performing victory, you are participating in it. And participation, repeated over days and months, becomes a life. When presence takes the wheel. There are moments when help does not arrive as advice or even as strength you borrow. It arrives as presence. Not a metaphor, not a mood. Presence that moves like a leader stepping into a crowded room and with a single calm sentence restores order. I myself have approached. I assume command. That is the tone. No bargaining, no backroom deal, no consultation with the forces that been crowding your mind. The path is being cleared the way snow slides from a roof in sudden sunlight. Clean, decisive, almost startling. Feel how it touches specific places. Where anxiety has been pacing, it stumbles. Where scarcity has been writing headlines, it loses ink. Where weakness has kept you seated, a steadier balance rises in your bones. Grief that hardened into shape begins to soften at the edges. The hindrances you named as permanent are trembling, not because you finally became powerful enough to intimidate them, but because authority outranks opposition. If you're wondering what to do while reversal unfolds, try something beautifully simple. Cooperate. Let the cleared path be the path you take. Don't argue with your rescue. Release the need to over-explain your turn to people still committed to your yesterday. Presence does not audition, it acts. You are allowed to follow. Picture a chessboard you've been losing for months. Every move felt like a patch, not a plan. Now, the Grandmaster puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "I'll take it from here." In 3 moves, the board looks different. That is not luck. That is command. So breathe. Say, "Yes, lead me," even if your hands are shaking. Reversal is not fragile. It is complete. And when presence takes the wheel, the road straightens in ways effort never could. Where spirit touches skin. Spiritual shifts are not meant to float above your life like poetic weather. They land. They touch calendars, blood work, budgets, and family tables. I am stepping into your material condition, into bodily soundness, into what concerns your loved ones. That promise means your wellness isn't just a wish, it is being addressed. It means the passage that used to feel jammed with invisible debris is unblocked. You don't have to invent momentum, it is meeting you. Watch for subtle confirmations. The call you've been waiting on returns without being chased. The test results show a turn. The job language that used to feel like a locked dialect suddenly makes sense. The child who's been distant asks a small, brave question that opens a door. None of these are accidents. When a river is dredged, the surface may still look slow at first, but depth and direction are restored. A transformation is occurring in the unseen circuitry around you. Think of it like a network refresh. The old connections that kept timing out are being rerouted. The signal stabilizes. What used to lag now loads. Your role is to keep the device of your life awake, charged by hope, connected by prayer, cleared of the apps that drain you for no good reason. It's practical. Hydrate, rest, keep the appointment, tidy the room where you avoid decisions. These small obediences become conduits for large grace. Do not be surprised if help arrives in ordinary clothing. A competent nurse, a patient clerk, a neighbor who knows the right contractor, an email with clear next steps. Miracles often prefer plain wrappers. Welcome them. Say thank you out loud. The passage is no longer obstructed. Move through it with both humility and expectancy. What changed in the invisible wants to be honored in the visible by actions that match the new openness of your way. The ancient knowing you didn't learn. You felt it. A kind of inner sight that doesn't shout, a knowing that feels older than your fear and calmer than your plans. That is not a personality quirk. It's a planted insight, the gift of understanding from a quiet place I share with you. It doesn't perform, it perceives. It sees patterns where others see noise, motives where others only chase explanations. And crucially, it is not driven by adrenaline. Notice how this knowing behaves. It does not rush to convict, but it does not collude with confusion. It gives people enough space to reveal their truth without letting that truth define yours. It is unbothered by the lack of outward proof because it trusts the quality of light within. Many of us were trained to outsource discernment to the loudest room. This gift invites you back to the sanctuary where clarity is not argued, it's received. Here's a simple practice to honor it. When a situation stirs you up, pause long enough to ask two questions. What is true without my fear? What is loving without my denial? Answers that arrive quiet and steady usually belong to the gift. Answers that arrive frantic and punishing do not. The goal isn't to be right about others, it's to be faithful to the light entrusted to you. You won't need to collect evidence to calm yourself when this sight is active. The peace is built in. And when external validation finally shows up, you'll nod, not gloat, because you were never betting on being smarter, you were consenting to be guided. Protect this clarity. Noise is its enemy, stillness is its home. Let that ancient knowing continue its slow, brilliant work, telling you when to lean in, when to step back, and when to stand your ground with a kindness that does not flinch. Speaking from the deep place, there's a kind of strength that doesn't need volume to carry weight. It comes from observation rather than agitation, from a center trained by honesty and mercy. Inner wisdom beyond surface appearances. When you speak from there, people feel steadied, not shamed. Your words are fewer, but they land. You don't swing truth like a blade. You set it down like bread. This posture changes conversations. Instead of reacting to the last sharp sentence, you listen beneath it for the wound that powered it. Compassion doesn't excuse harm. Compassion refuses to become harm while addressing it. You set boundaries without writing villainous biographies about people you used to love. You forgive quickly, not to pretend it didn't hurt, but to keep your inner river unpolluted. This is what it means to live completely in the truth you have gained. Gratitude is the fuel here, not the polite kind that posts well, but the practiced kind that notices small provisions, a timely ride, a clear sentence, a moment of laughter in a hard room. Gratitude keeps your sight clean. It prevents you from mistaking delay for denial or pruning for punishment. In the long corridors of change, gratitude is the window that keeps the air moving. Try this in the week ahead. Choose one conversation to enter deliberately slower. Let curiosity take the first step, not suspicion. Ask a better question. Offer one precise encouragement where you would have offered 3 pieces of advice. Watch what happens to the temperature in the room. Wisdom does not chase applause. It cultivates conditions where truth can breathe. And as you live from that deep place, you'll find you need fewer words to carry more meaning because your presence has learned to speak before your mouth does. Guarding the flame, crossing the threshold. Every turning requires tending. Guard the energy of your spirit. Let go. You are closing one phase. This is not dramatic, it's faithful. When a season ends, the clutter of it wants to follow you into the next room. Guarding your flame means deciding what doesn't travel, the obligation to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, the habit of overcommitting to stay liked, the narratives that only run on fear. Let them end with the season that fed them. Your aim now is simpler and stronger. Answer the voice within, not the scoreboard outside. Humility is not thinking less of your life. It's thinking of your life truthfully, in alignment with the one who called you, not the crowd that rates you. When recognition comes, don't despise it, just refuse to be steered by it. When criticism comes, don't fear it, just refuse to be named by it. And remember, you were never meant to do this alone. Help has been threaded into your path. Mentors who tell you the hard thing kindly, friends who hold your arms up when courage shakes, wise strangers whose sentence arrives at the right intersection. Receive them. Partnership is not weakness, it's architecture. Great bridges are built on more than one pillar. As this threshold approaches, make space on purpose. Clean a shelf. Cancel one commitment that drains you without fruit. Add one habit that returns you to center. A quiet morning check-in. What must I carry today? What must I lay down? This is how you cross, not with spectacle, but with stewardship. What unfolds now is not the product of luck. It is the outworking of a plan older than your fear and kinder than your ambition. Step through with a steady yes. The hand that brought you here is the hand that goes before you, made ready by love. Some seasons don't arrive to judge you, they arrive to train you. Not punishment, preparation. The very trials you wanted to outrun have been shaping your capacity, like wind carving a canyon into something breathtaking. This is the strange arithmetic of grace. Pressure does not just drain, it also distills. And now you are being readied, not as someone barely surviving, but as someone steady enough to carry goodness without dropping it. Underneath all of this is a love that does not expire, eternal, unhurried, incapable of leaving halfway through the story. When everything else has a clock, love does not. That matters because fear has a calendar, love has a covenant. Fear whispers deadlines and doom. Love stays for the whole process and refuses to call you finished while you're still unfolding. If you're waiting for permission to stop bracing, here it is. You are not walking this road alone. A significant shift is here, not in theory, in time. Think of it as a weight being lifted from the shoulders of your inner life, the burden of the previous self setting down its tools. What once felt necessary now feels ill-fitting. You don't have to rehearse old alarms. You don't have to rent space to old worries. Releasing is not losing, it's choosing what you keep. And inner stillness is not passivity, it's power under guidance. So practice a new reflex. When fear flares, breathe and ask, what would love do right now? Then do the smallest faithful version of that answer. Apologize without self-hatred. Say no without guilt. Rest without earning it. Move without theatrics. This is preparation at street level. Love teaching your feet a different cadence. You are being made ready, not for spectacle, but for substance. Not for applause, but for assignment. The hand that never leaves is the hand that steadies your rise. The reawakening you can undo. This isn't a minor tweak to your outlook. It is a reawakening that reaches the subfloor of who you are. Not an alteration, a return, like light coming back on in rooms you forgot existed. You begin to notice meaning threaded through the very places you labeled meaningless. The tear that taught you honesty, the quiet that taught you how to hear, the slammed door that redirected your steps before you knew where danger lived. Nothing romanticized, nothing wasted. There is a moment in every deep change when you realize you can't go back. The old script no longer fits your mouth. The old armor pinches your shoulders. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You're moving upward, not out of contempt for where you were, but out of commitment to where you're called. Think of a seed cracking open. To the untrained eye, it looks like breaking. To the gardener, it looks like beginnings. Your cracking was never your collapse. Here is a helpful lens as you walk. Ask what the pain produced, not just what it cost. Did endurance appear where there used to be panic? Did compassion deepen where certainty once sat? Did you learn to sit in silence long enough for a truer sentence to arrive? These are not small wins. They are structural upgrades to your soul. So mark the threshold. Give yourself permission to stop narrating your life as a salvage project. You are not restoring an old model. You are becoming who you were from the start. Let your choices reflect it. Choose the conversation that costs you a little pride, but buys you a lot of peace. Choose the habit that doesn't impress anyone but roots you. Choose the company that calls you upward without competition. The point of no return is not a threat. It's a promise that the road ahead is finally yours to walk. The sacred yes. Breakthroughs rarely shout. They ring like a bell you can feel in your chest. This is one of those bells. Not a collapse, an opening. And some openings are time-stamped. Sacred moments do not traffic in pressure, but they do carry urgency. If you wait forever to cross, you miss this tide, this alignment, this chance for momentum to do half the work. That's why the invitation is simple and total, a complete yes. Letting go is not weakness. It's wisdom that refuses to carry what cannot come with you. Let go of the story that casts you only as survivor. Let go of the roles you learned to play so others felt comfortable. Let go of the outcomes you tried to micromanage while calling it responsibility. Trust is not blind, is differently sighted. It sees a hand beyond your hand at work in the details you cannot grip. If trust feels abstract, try giving it a body. Choose one thing today to release and place in prayer. The exhaustive plan, the imaginary argument, the unending scroll for answers. Then replace it with a practice that creates space. A 10-minute stillness, a walk without your phone, a journal page that ends with "I say yes." This seems small until you remember that rivers alter landscapes through consistent, simple motion. And when anxiety asks for one more negotiation, answer kindly and firmly, "I am already spoken for. My yes has been given." You are not abdicating agency, you are aligning it. The paradox of sacred surrender is that it returns you to yourself, lighter, clearer, more available to the life that's actually in front of you. This is trust in motion, not a dramatic leap off a cliff, but steady steps through a doorway that just opened because you stopped trying to force a wall to become a door. Through the holy doorway, before every visible change, there is a quiet. You felt it, the hush before rain, the pause before a truth is spoken aloud. That quiet isn't emptiness, it's calibration. Your inner world is syncing with a larger will, and the environment will begin to respond. Opportunities that once required shouting now open on a firm knock. Conversations that used to derail hold steady. Timing, once slippery, starts to keep appointments. The world is not bending to your ego. It's aligning to a purpose wiser than your preferences. This isn't a trick, a hack, or a manifestation slogan. It is the natural effect of being carried by a spirit that moves within you. When the wind is at your back, you still walk, but stride lengthens, breath eases, horizon widens. You'll notice coincidences stacked like stepping stones across water you thought was uncrossable. Accept them without superstition, and steward them without entitlement. To pass through this holy doorway, travel light. Bring your yes, your integrity, your attention. Leave behind the need to be spectacular. The sacred doesn't demand theatrics, it rewards honesty. Ask yourself, what is the next true step? Then take it, even if it's as ordinary as sending the email, making the appointment, or telling the truth kindly where you used to hedge. And when cynicism raises an eyebrow, because cynicism always auditions at thresholds, answer with evidence from your own life. The peace you didn't invent, the alignment you couldn't schedule, the strength that arrived exactly when your strength ran out. These are receipts. Keep them in your pocket for hard days. The doorway is not a mirage. is an entrance built into this hour. Walk through without spectacle, with a steady heart, and discover that reality becomes more trustworthy on the other side. Practices that keep the light. Fresh paths ask for fresh practices. Think of them as hinges that let the big door move smoothly. Begin where mornings begin, a simple sentence that sets your posture. My Lord, I am here to hear. Say it before headlines, before inboxes, before the day decides for you. Not because ritual earns favor, but because attention shapes experience. Attention is how you love. Carry that awareness into ordinary rooms. In the meeting, notice your breath. In traffic, notice your tone. In the kitchen, notice your gratitude. Let small acts become sacramental. The kind word you didn't owe, the forgiveness you weren't asked for, the pause that kept an old script from grabbing the mic. This is how transformation survives Tuesday. Guard your inner stillness like a precious flame. That means choosing what is plain, unhurried, meaningful. You'll be invited to outrun yourself 100 times a week. Decline kindly. Replace hurry with order, noise with intervals of quiet, clutter with one clear surface where you can think. Stillness is not the absence of activity, it's the presence of peace inside activity. When you cultivate it, decisions stop shouting because wisdom has a place to speak. Practical helps. Hydrate and sleep like they're spiritual disciplines because bodies carry souls and tired bodies tell bad stories. Keep short accounts, apologize quickly, forgive quickly, return quickly to center when you drift. Review your day not for self-critique, but for alignment. Where did I live awake? Where did I live on autopilot? Adjust without drama. And if you fall out of rhythm, don't make a religion out of regret. Start again at next breath. I am here to hear. That humble reset is how long journeys are actually walked, one attended moment stacked on another, until a new way of being becomes the most ordinary thing about you. Fear, grounded, lessons from a living world. When fear rises, don't argue with it, ground it. Put both feet on the floor, lengthen your spine, let your breath get honest. Say quietly, I am held by a power greater than my panic. This isn't self-hypnosis, it's alignment. Fear announces threats, a superior power announces truth. One names the weather, the other names the sky. Step outside if you can. The world God made is a patient teacher. Notice the branches after a strong wind, how they bend without breaking, how flexibility is their armor. See how roots disappear underground, yet keep a whole landscape standing. Creation isn't in denial, it is resilient by design. Let it tutor your nervous system. Ask, where can I bend instead of snap? Where do I need deeper roots, not bigger leaves? Gratitude is the language of that realm, the dialect of steady hearts. Practice it in plain syllables. Thank you for breath. Thank you for this exact second. Thank you for the strength that arrives in fair portions. Gratitude doesn't erase trouble. It keeps trouble from erasing you. It loosens the jaw of dread and gives your vision back its depth. Then move with quiet resolve. Not a rush, not a performance resolve. Choose one brave act that fear has delayed. The call, the boundary, the apology, the application. Don't broadcast it, embody it. Let the proof of your faith be a calendar entry, not a caption. And when fear circles back, as it tends to do, return to the ground, feet steady, breath simple, sentence true. You're not asked to become fearless, you're invited to become rooted. Wind will come, branches will sway, but the tree remains, fed by a grace it cannot see, and anchored in a soil it did not invent. That can be you, flexible in motion, unshakable at center, fluent in gratitude, and quietly brave enough to keep walking. A quiet yes. There is an invitation on the table tonight, and it does not arrive with spotlight or stage directions. It comes in a whisper. Come to the quiet. Close the tabs, dim the noise, let your soul sit down. You are being asked to meet presence without the costumes, no titles, no roles, no masks meant to earn belonging. Just you as you actually are, and the one who knows your name before you speak it. In that holy quiet, you may feel labels trying to follow you in. Failure, too late, not enough, too much. Don't fight them with slogans. Lay them down with truth. Your identity is not an echo of old wounds. It is a word spoken from a higher place, selected and profoundly cherished. Let it land. Let it declutter rooms in you that have been hoarding shame. Your part is not complicated, but it is complete. Say yes. Not the half yes that bargains for guarantees, but the whole yes that trusts a faithful hand more than a perfect plan. Yes, renew my thoughts. Yes, dismantle what is false. Yes, rewrite the story I told to survive. A real yes is not loud, it's loyal. It keeps showing up after the mood passes. If it helps, give your yes a shape. Light a small candle and say it out loud. Write a single sentence on paper and put it in your pocket. Set a daily appointment with stillness, 5 minutes you treat as seriously as any meeting. The point is not ritual for its own sake. It's evidence to your future self that you agreed with the truth when it knocked. And as you sit in that quiet meeting, expect gentleness. Expect clarity that does not demand theatrics. Expect to feel seen in a way that makes striving look unnecessary. The distance shrinks. The heart steadies. The labels fall. And your life, without fanfare, turns toward the name you were always meant to answer to. Holy ground and the swift turn. There is a kind of moment when the floor you're standing on changes. Same room, new ground. That is what happens when God steps in. Anything that stood against you loses its legal right to remain. Obstacles that felt constitutional are suddenly procedural, and procedures can be dismissed. The shift isn't theoretical, it is material. Calls are returned. Doors you knocked on for months swing open. The road ahead smooths where it once jolted. Breakthroughs aren't always gradual. Many arrive like a sunrise you thought would take an hour, but bursts past the horizon in minutes. It comes suddenly, changes everything in an instant. That doesn't mean you were naive before. It means mercy kept a schedule you couldn't see. When swiftness meets preparedness, advancement looks effortless. Restoration isn't merely repair, it's return with interest, relationships mended with stronger seams, work realigned with clearer purpose, health renewed with wiser stewardship. Receive abundance without apology. This isn't about hoarding, it's about capacity. Abundance is not the opposite of humility, resentment is. Humility says, I'll carry this well. Resentment says, I'll doubt this until it leaves. Choose the posture that lets blessing do its work. Begin stewarding the new season immediately. Set structures that match the favor you prayed for, budgets with purpose, margins for rest, rhythms that keep peace on the schedule. And hear this promise as it was meant to land. The victory you didn't even know how to request is about to reveal itself. You prayed for survival, you're receiving restoration. You hoped for relief, you're being handed momentum. When the moment arrives, answer it like someone who expected goodness eventually, with gratitude, with clarity, with steady hands. Stand on the holy ground of this hour, breathe the unburdened air, and step forward. The door has opened. Walk through. Amen.